Welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where our community is focused on food security, self-reliance, and emergency preparedness. And in case you hadn't noticed from our channel, I'm getting really big into powdered vegetables, powdered foods now, because I'm having such a great time, and it is such a wonderful thing to have for food security on our emergency food storage shelves. And so today we're going to do lemon powder, and we will get started when we come right back. After doing all of those vegetables for 2 previous videos, I thought it might be really good to do something that was a little bit different. And so a couple of the comments under those videos from our viewers had mentioned lemon powder. And I hadn't even thought about lemon powder. And so I began to do quite a bit of research on that. And what I found was that some people do it one way, some people do it another way, and there's no real right way how to do lemon powder. So we're going to do a little experiment today. A couple of things though. Most of the recommendations are to use organic lemons so that you can avoid the pesticide. Well, I couldn't find any organic lemons. Jim bought me 2 of these 5-pound bags of really lovely lemons from Costco. And I put them in the sink and I scrubbed them with warm soapy water. And then I rinsed them, and I'm already started. So I want to show you what I have done so far. If you'll take a look at these dehydrator trays, you'll notice that on a couple of these trays, I am doing just the peels. And that is because some people recommend doing only the peels, because the white pithy part, what they say is it turns things bitter. And I know that that is a fact. It's more bitter with some types of lemons than with other. Now, other people at the same time recommend doing lemon slices, just the whole darn lemon. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do both. And then we're going to powder them separately, and we're going to see which one we like the best. Now, I'm doing lemons in the dehydrator because I know many of you have a dehydrator, but you do not have a freeze dryer. And we are also going to do a batch in the freeze dryer. So I want to show you how I got started. Now, these are my clean lemons. These I still have to process. I'm using a vegetable peeler like this with a really wide blade. And I noticed I have to be careful of this finger that hangs out down here because I almost caught it. So I sort of try to tuck it in. But I'm wanting to get with this peeler, and it's a little bit more difficult than I would like, the widest peels that I can. And so I just run around the entire lemon, taking the peels like this, and they're very thin. I'm getting as little pith as I can. And so these are going to go in the dehydrator. And then for the sliced lemons, I am slicing off the very edge. And then I'm just cutting these as thin as I can get them. I would like to say they are about 1/8 of an inch. But sometimes I slip up and make them about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now, one tray took 3 lemons worth of peel. And one tray here took 3 lemons worth of slices. So that made it very easy. So I'm going to finish this. I'll get all of these trays in the dehydrator, and then I'll do this other bag of lemons for the freeze dryer. And we'll come back in, it will take the freeze dryer more than 24 hours because Kelvin Lab, where Kelvin hangs out, that's our freeze dryer, is warm. And on warm days, it takes a lot longer to process. There's a little warning that comes on that this room is hot, the batch may take longer, and indeed it does. So we'll come back when both batches are done and we'll examine the results. So we will see you in probably about a day and a half. We are back and it has been 2 full days. Lemons were harder to dry than I thought. I've done lemons before, but because they weren't for a video, I really didn't even pay any attention to how long it took. But it just seemed to take forever. You know, lemons and actually all citrus, they have these little cellular-like structures in here that are full of the juice, and it's hard to get those to dry completely. They stayed sticky for a really long time. They actually finished quicker in the dehydrator than they did in the freeze dryer. And so this is the dehydrator batch, and this is the freeze dryer batch. Now I've actually done it 3 ways. Dehydrated regular lemons with the peel on, and then freeze-dried lemons with the peel on, and these are still a little bit sticky, so I'm going to do them anyway, and if we have to dry them more, we will. And then these are the lemons that were left over from when I pulled the peels off. These are the peelings from 6 lemons that were dehydrated, 6 lemons that were freeze-dried, and so you can see the difference in how they did. And also note the difference in the color. These are more golden, more brownish gold, and these are still light and yellow. I wanted to preserve as much of the yellow color without them turning brown. I saw some on YouTube where the lemon powder was really quite brown, and I want it to be light and yellow. I don't know if we've achieved that. We'll find out. So we're going to go ahead and start powdering these, and then we'll see what we get. We're going to do a little taste test. I'm going to keep them separate, and so we'll have 3 taste tests. I'm actually going to do these 2 together, and then we'll taste the peels only, and then we'll taste the dehydrated with the peel still on. Oh, there's a seed. I tried to knock all the seeds out as I was putting them on the trays. Then we will test the lemons in the freeze dryer with peel on, and then the bunch with freeze dryer, peel off, and just the pith. I'm hoping that these are not too bitter because the peel is gone and all we have is the pith. So let's get to it. So first of all, I'm going to put in here the peels from the dehydrated, and it only took the dehydrator about 4 hours to dry those peels. Oh, this hint is the best hint ever. I showed it in a previous video, and it was suggested to us by someone else whose name is Pam. And so it keeps the powder from getting up on the inside of the lid. So let's check this out. So that took a little bit of doing to get that done. So there it is. It's a little bit lumpy still. I may run that back through again, but for right now, I'm just going to put it in the jar. So this turned out to be quite a nice color. So this is the peels from 6 lemons. Okay, now we will do, and I'm not going to clean the container in between times because everything is lemon. It'll be fine. These are the freeze-dried. My guess is that they are going to powder up much easier because they are very light and airy and easy to break. So we'll be able to tell right away. Oh yeah, much easier. These are also a very pretty yellow color, not quite so gold. I'm just going to put them here right in on the top. So you can see here the difference in the color, also the difference in the volume. These are more airy, there's more volume here than these. These are going to be harder, but I'm just going to mix them up and we'll use them all together. So I'm going to set those aside right now. And then we're going to try the dehydrated with the peel on. Okay, so here's the comparison of the color. So obviously the peels are going to be more yellow than the full rounds of lemon are. Now I'm going to move over to the ones with peels from the freeze dryer. All right, check it out. They didn't do it very well. There's a whole ring right in there. It's the 3 whole rings that didn't even get down into the blades. I'm going to keep working on this, and I will come back when I get all these powdered. Well, I'm done, and I made a mess of everything. There was powder everywhere, all over me. I'm stepping on it. It was a big mess. Most of the mess is over in the sinks, and I'll get it later. But here is the yield. This was 10 pounds of lemons, except for the 3 that you saw in the opening slide. So my favorite color are the straight peels, and I am going to mix those 2 together, and so there's not going to be a color differentiation there when I'm done. This one is the dehydrated with peels. It is more of a brown. This is my least favorite color of all of these. And these are all clumpy because they still have some, I think it's moisture. I'm going to run these through the dehydrator for another couple of hours as powder and see if I can get them more dry. So they will flow freely when I turn them around. See how that one sticks up here? It should just rotate freely if it was not. And it may be just stickiness from the sugar, so I'll try that out. This was the freeze-dried with the peels, and it turned out lovely, but you can see that it still is not rolling at all, so it is either still wet or very sticky. And then this, because I had twice as many lemons that I had pulled the peel off for over here, these were 12 lemons that had the peel removed, and my concern here is the bitterness. All right, so here's the taste test. We'll see. So here is just the peels. Okay, that's really good. I mean, you know, it's not sweet at all. It tastes like lemon, of course, but this could be used interchangeably for if you ever needed to zest a lemon and didn't have a lemon on hand, this would work great for zest. Okay, now the dehydrated with the peel on. Oh, much more full-bodied flavor. You could use this as a substitute very easily for anything that you wanted a lemon flavor. Sprinkle it on fish when you're cooking it for that lemon flavor. Put it in beverages that you like a little taste of lemon. This would work great. So this was the very same thing, peel on, but this is freeze-dried. Oh, okay. These two are very similar in taste. Texture is different. This is light and fluffy. This is a little heavier. I'm going to mix these two together. They taste almost identical. This is the one with the 12 lemons that had the peel removed for here. So I'm concerned about bitterness here, so let's see, because this had a lot of pith. Oh, that's too much. Okay, there is bitterness. It is not completely overpowering, and it could be used in some dishes that would help mask that little bit of bitterness. So these three did really, really well. This one I'll have to be careful what I use it for, but I think I can still use it. Now, because these still, I believe, have some moisture in them, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. My dehydrator came with these little trays for like fruit leather, and I have 3 of them. So I'm just going to pour these powders out. Very sticky. Hopefully, putting these back in the dehydrator is going to help. So there's that one. This is such a pretty color. In the description under the video, I will explain what happened after these have been heated, whether or not they got really dry or whether they're still a little bit sticky. I'm going to use them either way, and then I'm going to keep them vacuum sealed. These will be great as we continue our adventure with powdered vegetables, and of course this is a fruit, so this is our first fruit, my first fruit that I have ever powdered. And I'm working on some new soup recipes where some of this lemon flavoring is just going to be delicious in it. So watch for our next video on powdered foods. These are such a fabulous thing for us to have in our food storage. So thanks for being with us, and we will see you next time.